Thank you very much, George. And hi, everybody. My name's Sandy Beach, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Sandy.
And they're talking about how open-minded you have to be to make any progress whatsoever. He said you just have to be able to see everything entirely different. For example, one way of looking at a chicken, it's an egg's way of reproducing itself. Now that's a rather different way of looking at a chicken, isn't it? A chicken is an egg's way of reproducing itself. Well, if you sat there as an egg, you could go, you're damn right it is. That's how it's done. So anyway, that got me thinking that perhaps we're all eggs. So now we got to imagine that we got little legs and arms and a little head sitting on top there, and we're just eggs. There's, I don't know how many on the planet. 10 billion? 10 billion eggs. They're all going around. Some of them are painted white, some are painted black, some are painted brown, some are painted yellow. And they're just eggs. And they're all going. And most of them just end up rotting and falling by the wayside. Some of them get scrambled, fried. Some of them go into cakes. Some of them go into cookies. Some of them go into fudge. Some of them go, they just have all these different places they end up. But they're trying to have a house and a family and a car and get ahead of the other eggs and doing all these things. But one of the things that happens to some of them is they hatch. You know what I mean? They hatch. Now that's a whole different deal than the scrambled eggs and the fried eggs and the rotten eggs and the cakes. There's a small percentage that hatch. And as the people started studying the egg population, they noticed that there was a large amount of hatching going on in the alcoholic population of eggs. You know what I mean? Now, granted, a whole bunch of them just fall off of buildings and splat on the road, or just drive a car into a tree and then that's the end of them. But there's a percentage there. There's about 10% that somehow gets singled out for this thing called hatching. And it's a very funny process how an alcoholic egg gets singled out for hatching. It looks something like this. The alcoholic's egg driving his car. It's 2 a.m. He's been in the bar all night. He's on his way home, but he forgot where he lived. But he has lots of gas, and he's got the radio all the way up, and he's singing. He's got 6 more beers under the seat, and he's singing his favorite song, "I Did It My Way." Obviously that's the ultimate alcoholic theme song. And a Texas state trooper suddenly is behind him with the red and blue light going, and he has to pull over, and he's cursing, "Why is he picking on me?" And we freeze frame right now because this is God's agent coming in and selecting this one for hatching. And pretty soon he's up in front of he has no idea. He thinks this is the worst thing that ever happened to him. The unjust treatment. He tried to slip a $100 bill, didn't do any good. And next thing he's in front of a judge, and the judge going, "Okay, it's going to be, this is your 5th DWI, so it's going to be like 4 years in jail, or you can join AA." And so he goes, "Oh my God, I don't want to join those guys. That's the last place I want to go." And so he goes. And they go, "Okay, we're going to start you through the hatching process." You're not going to believe it, because everything as you see it now isn't going to be the way you're going to see it when we get through with you. And now that you're here, you can't go back. We're going to take you through a process where you're going to hatch. And of course, this is like, whoa, these guys are weird. What is that? Yeah, we have 12-step hatching process. And you just have to keep attending these incubation sessions. We have little meetings, and we're going to put you right there. And of course, you don't believe it. You don't. No. But you're there a while, and you feel something inside of you that feels like it's alive, and that it is seeing things a little bit. You have no idea what is happening, but you know something is happening. There is an awareness, and then they go, we just need you to poke, because nobody can do this for you. And if you can imagine how hard it is to poke through your entire support system on the grounds that there's something over there, and we're not going to tell you what it is, but you're going to love it. It's like, you want me to poke through and break this? I mean, the word was, this is it. If this breaks, you're in a lot of trouble. You'll be dead. And so finally, and you can see that there's something out there. And you go, look, we got to get you all the way out. You got to keep poking until that's bigger. And we have steps for that. And it's very painful. Every time you poke one of these things, it's going to hurt. You're getting rid of this stuff, and you feel totally naked and exposed, and you have no protection to anything, and you have to keep on poking. And you come out and you start to realize that there is something out there, and you have actually made it out, and the shell is sitting here with this little hole, so it's like a secret home. And we spend a little time out here, and then we go back in there. And we're looking out a little bit more. What is this spiritual dimension that I'm supposed to be going into? Now, the problem is the shell doesn't want to give up its existence. That has been in charge of everything. That's where all of the perspective on the world has come from, is from the egg. But we have something other than an egg that is now starting to take a look around and see what's what. Start questioning all the ideas that the shell had. And so this is the struggle that we have, is to stop listening to this entire package of information. And so when we find ourselves making progress in the spiritual world, the shell is beckoning us, come on back, it's not safe out there, you're having a hard time. You've lost contact with God, you're having a little bit of anxiety. Come here. I'm always here for you. Don't worry, you can come back into the safety of self-centeredness. You can come back into these old, familiar, they may be crappy ideas, but they're familiar. These are your comfort zone. You don't want to stay out of the comfort zone too long. You've got to stay. So now we have established the dynamics of trying to grow spiritually versus the comfort of the familiar that we were raised in and that it's been part of us forever. And it's very difficult to make a total separation. And so, maybe St. Francis did it, and maybe there are other examples throughout history. But our challenge is to see how far away we can get from the power of that shell.